Let's now discuss our top story, which is on the decision of the Supreme Court to set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal recognizing Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party. I'm now being joined by legal practitioner Liberus Oshoma. Thank you for your time, sir. Now, both sides have been claiming victory of the judgment by the Supreme Court. While one side says the judgment means Abure still remains chairman of the party, the caretaker committee of the party says the judgment means Abure has been sacked. Now, please help us to really understand what exactly this judgment means.
What the judgment simply, thank you very much. What the judgment simply means is that the Court of Appeal in the first place ought not to have interfered in the affairs of the political party. This Court of Appeal that heard that Abure was the authentic chairman of the national chairman of the party. The Supreme Court is saying that they ought not to have interfered. And that the decision for the internal organs of the party, the National Working Committee of the party. And so if the National Working Committee of the party had removed Abure, that there is, in line with their constitutional requirements, that there is no court that can interfere, being an internal working of the party. So remember, Abure had earlier been removed by the National Working Committee, and then he went to court also, and then he went to court, and then the court reinstated him as the authentic national chairman of the party. So that is why both are laying claim, because the court had declined to interfere, just the same way the court declined to interfere in the affairs of the PDP as regards the national secretary of the party. I think that was last week or last 2 weeks. So the same vein, the court had said, that this is a family affair and that no court should interfere, and that the internal workings of the party should be governed by the parties.
Okay, now, since the Supreme Court is invalidating the judgment of the Appeal Court, does this mean that all actions taken by Abure since the Appeal Court recognized him as chairman up until now have been nullified? Does that mean this?
No, well, when until a court gives a judgment, what it means is that there is presumption of regularity in favor of action taken by that office holder. And then so once those actions taken by that office holder at that time are presumed regular until from the day the court set aside the holder of that office, that's when you now begin to talk about any action taken subsequently is a nullity. So what usually happens is when the next person comes to occupy that office, they can either adopt those previous decisions taken or override those decisions. But you cannot say that all actions previously taken, had been ab initio nullified, because what it means is that as at the time those actions were taken, the person that took those actions took them on the presumption that, he was the authentic chairman of that party. So, but the issue here, why both parties are laying claim to this seat, is the fact that what is the prevailing position before the Court of Appeal judgment? What led to them going out? So the action that took them to court actually is what the court had nullified now, to say there was no need for the court to interfere in the first place. The action that took them to court, that was what the court had nullified. And basically, if it was that Abure had been removed ab initio, and then he now approached the court to say, by virtue of a Congress head, that he remains the authentic chairman, then what it means is that the Supreme Court has said no court can interfere. Since no court has the power to interfere, the decision of the party stands. But if it is that he was not removed, and then that's where you now say Abure's side can claim victory.
Thank you for your insights. Thank you for your insight as always, Mr. Oshoma.